Behind every royal headline, there's a hidden truth. The world is watching the crown once again. This is Golden Crown Insider, where royal secrets become headlines. Today we are going to do something different. We are not going to talk about one story. We are going to talk about a week. One single week in May 2026 that, when you lay every piece of it out in sequence, the brand collapse, the video mockery, the typo, the Mother's Day controversy, the palace allegations, tells a story far bigger and far more revealing than any individual headline could capture alone. Because what happened to Meghan Markle this week was not a bad news cycle. Bad news cycles happen to everyone. They arrive, they dominate for a few days, and then they pass. What happened this week was something structurally different. It was a set of problems, all completely separate on the surface, that arrived simultaneously and fed exactly the same underlying conversation. A conversation about the gap between image and reality. Between what As Ever claims to be and what the numbers actually show. Between the Meghan Markle that the brand is selling and the Meghan Markle that the world is increasingly seeing. Subscribe right now if you are new here. Hit that bell. Because Golden Crown Insider is taking you through every single thread of this week, carefully, fairly, and completely. Let's start with the brand. Because before anything else went wrong this week, before the video, before the typo, before Mother's Day, the rebrand itself was already sending a signal worth reading carefully. As Ever launched in 2025 as a deeply personal passion project. The framing was carefully constructed. This was not another celebrity lifestyle brand. This was something authentic, inspired by Meghan's garden, her kitchen, her love of hosting people at her table. Warmth. Intimacy. Real food for real people. Hello. The original launch attracted genuine attention. Products sold out within an hour. The bookmark she designed herself, stamped in gold with the words "Fell asleep here" in her own handwriting, was gone within 10 minutes of going live. The interest was real. The demand was real. And for a brief window, the momentum felt real too. Yahoo, and then the numbers started leaking out. Netflix's Hollywood offices became overrun with Unsold as Ever jam jars, tea blends, and candles. According to Page 6 sources, Netflix staff were taking products home by the dozens, given away for free because the inventory had nowhere else to go. The partnership that had been described as huge by Meghan herself in February 2025 was officially over by March 2026. Netflix called it always intended. Meghan called it meaningful and rapid growth, ready to stand on its own. ABC News always intended. That is a very specific phrase. And the gap between always intended and the February 2025 statement calling Netflix huge, that gap is the story, not the words. The distance between them. PR expert Renee Smith, speaking about the brand's trajectory, was direct. She said Meghan has the ingredients for a long-lasting brand within her existing fan base. But it has got to stop feeling so reactive. To turn the tide, she needs to lead with clarity, show consistency in her messaging, and decide whether this next chapter is about commerce, culture, or personal reinvention, because trying to do all three at once simply is not working. Woman and home, that diagnosis, commerce, culture, or personal reinvention, pick one, is the most honest thing anyone has said publicly about As Ever's core problem. And it arrived in the same week that the rebrand tried, visibly and unsuccessfully, to do all three at once. Now let's talk about the promo video. Because this is where the week really accelerated. On May 11, 2026, Meghan posted a promotional video for As Ever across her personal Instagram and the brand's official account. The caption described what began with fruit from Meghan's garden, simmered into preserves in her home kitchen, inspiring curated collections to bring surprise and delight to your everyday. The video opened with Meghan in the white evening gown she wore to the 2024 ESPYs. Hello. An evening gown. For a jar of marmalade. That gap between the product being sold and the visual language being used to sell it was the first thing the internet noticed. And it noticed it immediately. 5 outfit changes across the entire video. An evening gown. A floor-length ivory halter dress. A deep red silk slip. Slow-motion champagne pours. Cinematic lighting. Carefully controlled shadows. Fashion bloggers identified nearly every outfit within 90 minutes of the video going live. The word that kept appearing in commentary was engineered. Nothing felt accidental or spontaneous. Hello. And then came the detail that cut through everything else. The kitchen in the video, the warm, domestic, intimate setting that is supposed to be the heart of the entire brand, was not Meghan's actual kitchen. A different property was used for the shoot because Meghan's real kitchen has a darker farmhouse aesthetic that did not fit the soft luxury visual the campaign wanted. Think about that for a moment. The entire brand is built on authenticity, on the idea that Meghan is sharing her real home, her real kitchen, her real life. And the kitchen at the center of the campaign is borrowed. For a brand whose promise is genuine domestic warmth, discovering the kitchen is a set changes everything. It does not just embarrass one video. It questions the entire premise. At no point in the entire video does Meghan eat the product. She holds the jars. She displays them. She examines them for the camera. She never opens one. She never tastes anything. The products function as props in a fashion editorial rather than as food she actually enjoys. Hello. One comment went viral because it articulated what millions of viewers were feeling but had not yet found the words for. She looked like someone wandering through a stranger's mansion pretending they own it. It spread everywhere. Not because it was cruel, because it was precise. Then came the website. And the website added its own entirely separate layer of problems. The redesigned As Ever site arrived with a dark, moody aesthetic, heavy shadows, muted tones, architecture designed for a lifestyle empire 10 times the current size. The navigation structure implied dozens of product categories and an established back catalog. The reality, a handful of products still working to find commercial traction, sat uncomfortably inside a site built to project a scale that does not yet exist. And then, in large text, prominently placed on the homepage, the typo. You're beautiful. Except it read you're beautiful. A grammatical error so basic that most word processors flag it automatically. On its own, a typo is a typo. Embarrassing, forgettable, corrected within hours. But in the context of everything else landing simultaneously, it became a symbol. Not of a grammar mistake. Of what happens when the quality control that professional teams provide is not present. When things go live without the review that catches these things before the world sees them. And then Mother's Day arrived. And this is where the week became truly painful to watch. Meghan has spoken about her mother Doria in nearly every interview she has ever given. Their closeness has been woven consistently through every chapter of the public Sussex narrative. Doria is, by Meghan's own repeated description, her greatest support and her most important relationship. On Mother's Day morning, the one day specifically dedicated to honoring mothers, what appeared on the As Ever website were 2 luxury candles tied to Archie and Lilibet's birthdays. Available for purchase. On Mother's Day morning. Product placement first. The tribute to Doria came later. Tucked inside a Disneyland photo carousel. The image that circulated most widely as Meghan's public acknowledgement of her mother on Mother's Day was a photo of Doria being greeted by a Mickey Mouse character at a theme park. The juxtaposition was impossible to miss. Birthday candle sales in the morning. A Disney mascot photo as the primary tribute. For someone presented consistently as the most important person in Meghan's life. And then, landing in the same week, palace bullying allegations resurfaced in British media. The complaints from former staff about working conditions in the Sussex household, never resolved in the public record, contested and complicated by confidentiality agreements, were back in the conversation at exactly the wrong moment. What critics kept drawing attention to was a consistent pattern. Nearly every experienced advisor, communications professional, or senior staff member who reportedly tried to challenge decisions or push back on choices eventually left. The pattern of experienced professional people departing has been one of the most consistent features of the Sussex operation across both the palace years and the years since. Hello. And this is the direct line that many observers are drawing between a leadership environment that reportedly does not retain empowered professional advisors and the commercial errors that are now visible. Experienced teams catch the typos before they go live. They question whether the campaign tone fits the economic moment. They stress test whether 137,000 jars of food product with expiry dates can be moved at 26 units a day. They ask the uncomfortable questions. The numbers are not abstract. Netflix's Hollywood offices were overrun with Unsold As Ever inventory. Staff were taking products home by the dozens. These are real production costs already incurred. Real storage costs accumulating daily. Real inventory with real expiry dates sitting in warehouses while the rebrand tries to solve a problem that a new logo cannot fix. ABC News, because here is the honest truth about what a rebrand does and does not do. It changes the name on the jar. It does not answer the fundamental commercial question: why should someone choose this over what is available elsewhere at a fraction of the price from any supermarket? And it does not answer that question at a moment when a significant proportion of ordinary people are genuinely struggling. When food prices are elevated, energy costs are real, and the cumulative weight of several years of economic difficulty is the lived reality of the audience this brand is trying to reach. Into that environment, a campaign featuring floor-length designer gowns, slow-motion champagne, cinematic lighting, and premium pricing for artisan fruit spread does not communicate warmth and connection. It communicates disconnection, distance. A vision of domestic life so aspirational it becomes unrecognizable. And the painful irony, the one that sits at the heart of all of this, is that the product itself is apparently genuinely good. The jams sold out in an hour. The honey sold out. The bookmark sold out in 10 minutes. The product is not the problem. Meghan Markle has a genuine gift for the lifestyle category. She always has. The instinct is real. The taste is real. The ability to create something people want to own that is real. Hello. But real product quality and commercial viability are two different things. Curiosity gets the first purchase. Genuine satisfaction and consistent delivery of what the brand promises get the repeat purchases. And repeat purchases are what make a food brand commercially sustainable over time. The week that just passed did not build repeat purchase confidence. The video generated mockery. The typo generated ridicule. The borrowed kitchen generated questions about authenticity. The Mother's Day candle sales generated discomfort. The palace allegations generated a conversation about the culture behind the brand. None of these individually would be fatal. Together, arriving simultaneously, feeding the same underlying conversation, they formed a picture of something under significant and visible pressure, making exactly the kinds of errors that serious professional operations prevent before they reach the public. PR expert Renee Smith's verdict was the clearest of all. Will a cookbook pay the bills? No. Woman and home that sentence. 4 words. No elaboration. No softening. Just the commercial reality stated plainly. The As Ever brand has something real at its core. Genuine product quality. Real consumer interest. A founder with authentic taste and genuine creative instincts. Those things are not nothing. They are actually quite rare. But none of them matter if the gap between what the brand says it is and how it actually shows up in the world keeps widening. And after the week that just passed, that gap is wider than it has ever been. The question is not whether Meghan can build something real. The evidence says she can. The question is whether she will build the professional infrastructure around her that gives the real thing a chance to succeed. Before the inventory expires. Before the credibility gap becomes permanent. Before the week that just passed becomes the story that defines what As Ever actually was. That window is still open. But it will not stay open forever. If this video gave you the full picture, give it a thumbs up right now. Share it with someone following the story. And if you are not yet subscribed to Golden Crown Insider, do it now. Every single day we bring you the truth behind the royal headlines. The ones that connect what is really happening beneath the crown. This is Golden Crown Insider. And we will see you in the next one.